listening to the 23 Personnel Podcast, a Texas Tech athletics podcast where food and sports clash at the goal line. Here are your hosts, Spencer and Michael.
All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to episode of the 23 Personnel Podcast. I am your host, Spencer, joined by Michael. Michael, what's up, man?
Did we name our podcast the wrong thing? I mean, we just lost 23-0 in a bowl game. Should we have been? I don't know. Was it our fault? Are we the baddies?
The baddies. Oh gosh.
Probably not.
No. I in the moment, I was not very bitter. I was understanding about what was happening when Oregon was going for that final touchdown. I got it. But to see that the running back they pushed into the end zone broke his clavicle, his collarbone doing it, I was like, you know what? Sucks to suck, guys.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he's done. He's out. They lost the three guys behind him to the transfer portal. So their stable of running backs is down to their two best ones and a linebacker.
Well, that stable of running backs should be really proud of their 1.4 yards. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. 1.9 sack adjusted yards per rush on Thursday. So good for them. But no, I had no idea he hurt his clavicle, and I kind of felt. I know we're jumping in. Let's just jump into this. That's fine with me.
Rip the Band-Aid.
I
don't know who
I had no
around.
idea. I had no issue with. I didn't feel like Lanning was. I didn't. You know, when you grow up in the Mike Leach regime, and that was his philosophy. You know, if he's up 50,
you don't like it, stop it. Yeah.
51-7. Well, don't make me go 58. Try. You know, so. That did not bother me, and I did not feel like Lanning was doing that. Maybe he was, but it's football, man.
Honestly,
you play till the whistle's done. You know what helps you with kneeling there? That doesn't help them.
Yeah, and like even from a Texas Tech perspective, 16-0, 23-0, it doesn't change much. Or 19 if they kicked a field goal. Like if they kneeled at the clock and it was 16-0, would you feel better? No.
I'd almost feel worse. Like, oh gosh,
they took a knee inside the chin. I'm really insulted.
No, yeah, I mean, and Tech did that. Tech took a knee against Houston that ranted about, and I wish Tech would have continued playing football, and Oregon continued playing football, and I did not get my feelings hurt about that. I was totally fine.
And I wasn't. Again, at the end of the day, you gave up 23 points. You gave up 2 offensive touchdowns. One on a 6-yard play after a turnover that they recovered on the 6-yard line. And then
the other with 19 seconds left.
Seconds to go. So it's like, I wasn't hurt.
Nope.
So yeah, okay, we're recording this January 6th. It's been 6 days. I don't know who all out there wants to go through this again. We're going to go through it real quick. But Texas Tech lost in the Orange Bowl. 23-0. It was a 2.5-point line before kickoff. I think it was. I can't remember if it was the Gauchos or Red Ritter Recon. It was a Rob Bro production, either one. He said, "What would you feel more surprised about a Texas Tech win by 20 points or a Texas Tech loss by 20 points?" And I thought, like, how everything played out, I think I would be more surprised by a Texas Tech loss by 20 points, just with that defense. I was not considering a shutout. I didn't think that was whatever. What you saw was Texas Tech come against the best team they've played all season, the deepest team, the most talented team, most talented defense, and they, like, I don't want to say Baron Morton cost Texas Tech this game because the defense played well enough to win this game. Giving up 23 points, you probably expected to be in striking distance to win this game. if Morton was the only player or position on offense to have struggled, I would be like, man, he just had a really bad day. And no, the entire defense, like their game plan, their scheme, their aggression, the layoff, I don't even know. Like it totally jacked with the entire side of the ball. Your receivers couldn't get open.
Yeah.
Your running backs couldn't find space. Your quarterback was holding onto the ball too long, didn't throw the ball away to avoid sacks. When he had clean-ish pockets, he was either seeing ghosts or throwing in double coverage. Like it was like every level, every position group. So it's not like I'm not gonna say oh, this is Morton's fault or man, if we just didn't drop that one pass or why are we throwing to Koyek in the end zone when he's covered? Because that surely didn't work against Utah. He gets again, I only picked that out because there was a similar play against Utah. And even that's not fair to Koyek because like it wasn't that like he had the ball ripped away from him, just that he was thrown to in the end zone and it was intercepted. So yeah, offensively for Texas Tech, it was. I wouldn't say a no-show because I think.
Well,
I think
the scoreboard would disagree.
No, and that's not what I mean. I more mean that it was what Oregon did to you more than what you didn't capitalize on. It's not that you got a bunch of short fields or you created a lot of turnovers and chunk plays and you just couldn't finish. Absolutely nothing. You got nothing. You couldn't sustain a drive. I think it was almost halftime before you picked up your first down. Like scoreboard, it was well within reach. Like you're like, okay, here we go. Like we just need to get some momentum. It's 6-0. Like one score game. We got this. But watching the game, you're like, there's no shot. Like
Right.
something has to drastically change. I don't know what that is because it's not like it was one thing you can pinpoint. Like if we could just pick up the pressure, or if we could just identify their blitzes or their it was everything, man.
Or now have our running backs just constantly run into our linemen, just run into them.
Yeah. So it's what?
Yeah, I'm with you. Watching the game, I was not in a good state of mind. I'll get to that at the end. Save that for later. I went to a watch party that should not have hosted a watch party, but anyway, I did not. I put a lot of it on Morton just during the moment watching it, but I went back and rewatched it, and I'm with you. It was like aside from Terrence Carter Jr., it was pretty much a complete failure top to bottom. I mean, back-to-back false starts, illegal snaps, just allowing these sacks that had no chance of being blocked, the strip fumble where Morton himself had to make the touchdown saving tackle. It was just kind of a complete failure of everybody because I thought, man, well, I'm going to watch this, and they had a Hulu automatically record stuff because I like Texas Tech as a team, and so it recorded the Skycam version of the game, which is great because you kind of get to view the entire game like you're playing Madden, and so that's fun. I got to kind of be behind them, and then for some reason in the third quarter it just switched to the normal feed. I don't know what happened. Maybe the Skycam broke, but that was. I mean, I was that guy on my couch last night, 5 days after the game was over, pausing, and also knowing that there's no way that I can expect a 23-year-old to process all this information in real time when my old butt's over here pausing it and still being like, well, I think he's open. No, he's not open because that safety shifting. Oh yeah, okay. Well, let me switch over to this guy. Anyway, it was a exercise in futility. It made me realize how fast those plays actually go. But in my rewatch, I saw, yeah, there were some throws that he missed,
Yeah, for sure.
particularly on the kind of dump offs to the running backs behind the line of scrimmage. Obviously the interceptions, there was at least one or two more that could have or should have been interceptions as well. But he had an absolute great pass to, was it Virgil or was it Douglas right on the sideline? And it was a great catch too.
It was Virgil.
It was Virgil, and it was almost a one-handed catch. He had a couple of really good passes to Carter. But like you said, it was all not working.
Abject failure from the
Yes,
offense.
every bit of it was not working.
So I have a visceral reaction to people saying Texas Tech didn't belong, or they got exposed, or they were ripe for exposure, and all this kind of stuff. And just like, or exposing. The results, like I can't refute the results. Like what you're saying lines up with what happened. I hate to even remotely begin to accept or admit that. I also think that like if you played this game a few more times, Oregon probably wins all of them. Hard for me to accept that like, oh, that was just a one-off thing. Like no, they would probably win more than not. But also like there was just so much that like you couldn't figure out and was just uncharacteristic. You're like, that's give Oregon and their defense, Lanning and Lepoy, lots of credit for what they did.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to take anything away. I just don't think like if this was played a week and a half earlier, that wouldn't be the same result. If this was on campus, if you flip the roles and Texas Tech was a 5 seed and they had played James Madison and then went to the Orange Bowl, would it had been a similar outcome? I'd be interested. I'm interested to see how, now that we've gone 2 years with the 12, the expanded playoffs, 12-team playoff, that you've seen the team with a bye go 1-7. You've only had one team win, and that's Indiana. This year, they lost it last year. So that may get reevaluated, looked at. I don't think, I'm not saying like that the 4 teams that are still remaining aren't capable of winning it all, and that like something had to do, like a team on a bye got knocked out unfairly or whatever. I'm not trying to say that. I
No.
just think that like statistically speaking, the team with the bye should have at least a minimal advantage. And right now it's almost like, well, the statistics say 1-7, supreme disadvantage to having a bye. You don't get the air quote tune-up game. You don't get to stay in rhythm. I mean, Texas Tech was off 26 days. And that was even playing in the conference title game. Had the 2 Big Ten teams that were in the Big Ten championship game, like there would have been a possibility that there could have been a top 4 seed not play in a conference title game that would have been off another week. They could have been off 31 days, 32 days.
Yeah, if Notre Dame gets into there, then that's their fate.
Yeah, or like Ole Miss, who was on the very out, like just right there, potentially could have been considered a top 4 seed, but outside of the top 2 in the SEC with the standings. Anyways, it's all a mess. Defensively though, for Texas Tech, not a mess. David Bailey, Lee Hunter, they came to play, man. 10 tackles for loss, 4 pass breakups, 2 sacks. Bailey himself had a sack and 2 pass breakups where he just jumped and went super starfish. He's just like, you're not getting past me, getting around me. And 2 tackles for loss all by himself. You held them to 4 of 19 on third down. Michael, you point out their yards per rush. It's under 2 if you take away their sacks. Sorry, yeah, if you don't count the yards lost to sacks, it was 1.9. If you do, it's 1.4. But it really came down, especially in the first half, like you just could not get off the field. They were long, sustained drives that weren't ending in touchdowns and they weren't ending in lots of points. But like you had a quick 3 and out, and then you were on a long defensive possession, and then you had a like it was just like it stacked up very, very poorly against your defense, who was out there for a very long time. And as the game was progressing, it's like this is going to snowball. The momentum is going to just get you're not going to be able to maintain this. And to the defense's credit, to their conditioning, it never really felt like the defense broke. It wasn't like, oh, they just couldn't sustain it anymore, and they just couldn't keep up. No, they were on the field 37 minutes, and it maybe at the very end when it was 16 going to 23, you're like, they're done. But the game was over.
Yeah.
And even then, it wasn't like they're giving up or they're gassed. It was just like there wasn't anything to be done.
Yeah, I wanted to point out that as much as we're praising the defense, this just kind of is a natural transition into what Oregon did different in this game than they have done in any game of this so far this year. Their offense was extremely aggressive on fourth downs. They, prior to the Orange Bowl, had only attempted 22 fourth downs the entire season. They attempted 8 against Texas Tech. And so, I mean, when you look at that, that's 4 times their average attempts per game. They were averaging just under 2 attempts per game coming into this, and at a 63% success rate, so fairly successful. And we're 4 for 8 against Texas Tech. The defense on the other side of that was top 5 in FBS on fourth down conversions allowed. They were 10 of 34. They were 30% or so prior to this game. So something kind of had to give there. And maybe they saw that. Maybe they assumed that they would be able to take advantage of that, despite Tech's really stout fourth down defense, by just overwhelming them and going for it 8 times. But it worked. I mean, it was a good. I mean, it's similar to what McGuire did to Kiffin in the Texas Bowl a few years ago. I think it might have been the exact same amount. I'm not sure, but they weren't the underdog or anything. They were just going to dictate the game and keep that defense on the field as long as they could, and they did. But to our defense's credit, I mean, even with 4 turnovers, they held Oregon to 13 points on those 4 turnovers. That could have been 28 real quick. And it was a 2-score game with 4:45 left after the missed field goal attempt by Oregon because Tech held them there too. So, you feel good about your chances. 4:45 left, 16-0. Well, I didn't feel good. Nobody did, but theoretically, I watched an NFL game that did that exact thing this last week. They were down 16-0 and came back and tied it up 16-16. And I thought, wow, that would have been nice. How about that? See, it's possible. I watched that exact thing happen. I think it was in Chicago. It was Lions Bears. Great game. But you were there. The defense was there. That kept you in it. The other big thing that you kind of got used to, or spoiled, I should say, with the defense is turnovers. They only, I'm putting that in air quotes, they only had 1 turnover with the interception, but Texas Tech had 4 with the 2 interceptions and the strip sack and then Dickey's fumble. So you end up -3 in the turnover battle, and that's not what Take 3 University is supposed to mean. It's the other side of that. But I just have a couple things I wanted to get through, and then I'll stop talking for a minute. One of them is we got called offsides on a punt.
Yeah.
I don't know what I could have done. If there was something in front of me I could have thrown, or something I could have kicked, or anything, it probably would have gone through a steel door, because that was the most frustrating thing. That defense had been working their tails off, saving this game, and there was 11:30 left in the fourth.
And lots of time left. Yeah.
Yes, lots of time left. 11:30 left in the fourth. Tech should have gotten the ball back after a punt on 4th and 2, only down 13-0. Then you feel a little bit better. You probably have some better field position. You've got a lot more time. But no, instead, Oregon went on to chew more clock, almost 4 minutes, and then they made the field goal to go up 16-0.
So instead of getting the ball back 13-0 with 11 and a half to go, you get the ball back under 8 minutes to go, 16-0.
And go for 4 and
Because
out.
AJ McCarthy jumped off sides unnecessarily. Like he wasn't even like drawn off sides.
No.
He just jumped.
Jumped and
He stepped
stood
over.
in there while they snapped the ball. Oh, just maddening. The other thing I wanted to harp on slightly, and this is on the coaches, and I don't know if you feel this way or not, but I'm going to throw it out there. So 3:10 to Yuma, 3:10 left in the game, down 16-0. Should have been 13-0, but hey, whatever, Anyway, at our own 28, we have 3 timeouts left. It's 4th and a long, long 4. Morton had just scrambled. Nobody was really open. The one pass he could have made would have been to Aiken on a drag across the middle, and he pretty much scrambled to where Aiken would have gotten tackled anyway. So, I mean, I don't have like a big issue with that. So our quarterback has just scrambled on 3rd and long, got it to 4th and 4. It's the biggest play of the game in my mind, because there's only 3 minutes left. You're down 2 scores. There's still some hope. But we go no huddle, snap the ball with 29 seconds left on the play clock, and Morton almost gets his head taken off. I would have called a timeout, Spencer. Would you have called a timeout there? You got the 2-minute warning, timeout, stoppage, whatever coming up. I feel like, hey, 4th and 4, let's get the crew together. We got all 3 timeouts. We got the 2-minute warning. And if we can get this first down here, we can, maybe we'll get the ball back. Our defense has done so well. Heck, let's just score. How great would that be? But no, then they just no huddle, tempo. Morton's lucky to be alive, and that's it. That's the last meaningful snap of the game. Did that bother you as much as it bothered me?
Can I confess something? I was not in the room for that play. I'd gotten.
Were you taking a walk?
I'd walked away.
Well, okay, this was during my rewatch that it really irked me, but I was already just in what are we doing mode. Probably the last after that the punt, the offsides on the punt. I think I was just beside myself.
The one play, and I don't have it like time stamped, or I can't even tell you this scenario. The one play that sticks with me that I will have a hard time forgetting. Snap the ball. Howard Sampson turns 90 degrees to his right, runs straight into Will Jados. The defensive end just like looks at Sampson as he runs past him like,
you serious, bro?
What's that dude doing? And then blows up Baron Morton. It's like, well, I don't know what the play call was. I don't know what the confusion was. I don't know what the call. But something was amiss. And I was like, what are we doing? What are we even doing? So again, I don't lay everything at the feet of Morton because it's stuff like that. It's like it wasn't just Morton that had a rough day.
Cotton had a rough day too.
Yeah, the offense had a rough day.
The offense had a rough day. Yes.
Um,
I don't know how much more you want to get into it. That's about
I'm
all
really
I
done.
had. Okay.
Well,
I just wanted to exercise some demons, but I'm good.
The only other thing I want to bring up about this game, most of y'all, I mean, you probably don't remember this, but my youngest child, my daughter's name is Finley. We call her Finny. I will never, besides just saying it, just that I will never say that name again. That cornerback for Oregon with that same name ruined
it.
My poor daughter. I would have to I'm thinking of a new name for her. Finster. This is the other name I call her a lot. I'll just call her Finster. All right. Despite the almost 30 minutes of railing on the offense, we're going to go and talk about, we're just do a season recap here. Talk about this year's offense versus last year's. I want to do this. I think it's going to be, as much as we complained about it, I want to compare, contrast, and tell you it was actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Do the same for the defense. That one's a lot easier. So, okay, actually, let's start there. Let's start with defense, okay?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Okay. Defense, last season, Tim DeRuyter was your defensive coordinator. All right. Total, I'm just going to read off this chart really quickly. And if you don't like numbers, I'm so sorry. Just try to follow along. Just know it's going to be really significantly improved from 24 to 25. Total plays defended to the 2024 season. You defended 918 plays. Gave up 6,300 yards at 6.86 yards per play. Gave up 57 touchdowns, 34.85 points per game. You allowed teams to convert 38% of third downs, which was actually pretty good. Red zone scoring was 50 of 57. 36 of those 50 scores were touchdowns. Passing. You defended 475 pass attempts. You held quarterbacks to, I say held. Quarterbacks completed 64% of their passes against you at 8.4 yards per attempt. That's bad. If your quarterback is averaging 8.4 yards per attempt, like that's a pretty explosive quarterback. You averaged that. You gave up only 28 touchdowns, though. It's not terrible. 28 passing touchdowns and 14 interceptions. On the ground, you defended 443 runs, gave up just shy of 2,300 yards at 5.2 yards per carry. Yikes. On the Havoc side, I think this is where a lot of the focus was for wanting to get the roster retooled for this season. You forced 8 fumbles. You had 25 takeaways. It's 11 interceptions, 14 fumble recoveries, 68 TFLs, 21 sacks, 40 quarterback hurries, and 32 passes broken up. Now, this season, you defended one fewer play, 917 plays in one more game. So you had 14 games on this ledger versus 13 last season. You gave up only 4,079 yards. That's a difference, Michael, of 2,200 yards. Yards per play, 4.49. You dropped 2.37 yards per play surrendered by your defense from 2024 to 2025.
Did you know that 2,200 yards is 2,200 football fields?
Just wait, Michael. Just wait. Teams scored 19 touchdowns against you this season. Go back a minute to when I told you that you gave up 57 in 2024.
It's 22 football fields. Sorry.
38 touchdowns scored against you.
Yeesh.
Cut them out. So you went from 34.85 points per game to 11.79. These defensive numbers include the Orange Bowl. So 11.79 includes the 23 against Oregon. Had you not given up, had you not played in the Orange Bowl, it would have been under 11 points per game. You cut off 23 points per game. I don't have
That's
where this
improvement.
ranks. That's got to be number one. I don't know how you couldn't be number one there. Because you went from almost last to second. Third downs, you gave up only 29.77%. You dropped more than about 8.25%. Red zone scoring, you were 22 of 28. So your percentage dropped. You also faced 29 fewer attempts in the red zone. You gave up 15 red zone touchdowns, which is 26 fewer. It's 10% fewer red zone touchdowns. Passing, you defended 8 more pass attempts this season than you did last season and held teams to 5 percentage points lower, 59.2%. Yards per attempt, 5.5 this season. That was almost a 3-yard difference. 11 passing touchdowns surrendered to 17 interceptions. I'd have to go back and I don't know where you can find this to find a defense that gave up fewer touchdowns than forced interceptions. But you cut off 17 passing touchdowns on the season and caught 3 more interceptions. Rushing, you faced 9 fewer rushing attempts, but gave up 878 fewer yards on the ground. This season, you averaged 3.3 yards per carry. That was a nearly 2-yard per carry drop. Now the havoc plays, Michael. Forced fumbles. You're at 15 this season. That was a +7. Takeaways, you're at 39. That's +14. This is season over season. 17 interceptions of 22 fumble recoveries. That's 6 more interceptions and 8 more fumbles forced. 105 TFLs. That's a difference of +37. You nearly doubled your sack totals. You went from 21 to 41. Your quarterback hurries went from 40 to 65. And your passes broken up went from 32 to 61. Almost doubled that one too. So easy, right? Your defense was just incredible. Your tackle for loss leader, obviously it was Bailey, 19.5. Rodriguez, Hunter, and Height all had 11. Holmes had 9. Sacks, Bailey had 14.5. Height had 9.5. Holmes, I didn't realize he had 4.5. He was your third leading sack getter. And Hunter. So your top 4 players to record sacks were all on the defensive line. Passes broken up. Rodriguez, Wisniewski, and Pollock each had 6. Roberts, Balfour, and Boyd each had 5. Quarterback hurries. No surprises here. Bailey and Height were tied for first at 13. Holmes at 7. SGH and Terrell Tillman had 6. Tackles, Rodriguez led the way, 128. Roberts had 90. Wisniewski, 78. Curry, 72. I included 4 here to get to where you get to defensive backs because you had to flip. Your 4th leading tackler in 2024 was a cornerback. We'll get there. Okay. So last season, your TFL leader was Rodriguez. He had 10.5. McCarty had 6.5. Roberts and Cofield had 4.5. Sacks, Rodriguez, also your sack leader, had 5. Terrell Tillman, 3.5. Isaac Smith, 2.5. Passes broken up. Mo Horn, salute to you, good sir. Going to go be a Oklahoma State Cowboy. He had 5. Rodriguez and Baskerville had 4. Chapman Lewis and BJ Jordan had 3. Your quarterback hurries, Roberts had 6. Rodriguez had 5. Quincy Ledet and Harvey Dyson had 4. And then tackles, Rodriguez had 126. So he had 2 more tackles this season. Roberts was second again, so they finished 1-2 years in a row. He had 83. Baskerville, who was your star, your hybrid linebacker, he had 78, which was Curry, who had 72 this season. And then Horn had 56. All right. Offensively, highlights here in just about every category, it was an improvement. Obviously, you didn't run off Zach Kitley. He wasn't fired. He went on because he was successful. Last season, 2024, you ran 1,010 plays at 77.7 per game. This season, you ran 1038. So you ran 28 more plays, but at a slower pace, at 3.6 fewer plays per game. Total yards, you racked up, it was about even, 463 per game last season to 461 this season. Yards per play, you went up a third of a yard. You went from 596 to 622. That's not insignificant, but touchdowns scored, you went from 60 to 67. Points per game went up by almost 2 points, 37.6 to 39.4. Third down percentage, you got almost a percent better from 48.5 to 49.5. Red zone scoring is the one area where it got worse. It wasn't great last season. Well, you were at 90%. You're 56 of 62. Red zone touchdowns, you had 40 of your 56 scores were touchdowns. That was 64.5%. This season, your red zone scores were 86.5%. So you dropped 4% points there. And your red zone dropped almost 10%. 41 total red zone touchdowns. It's 55.5%. Passing, you completed and attempted fewer passes this season, but your completion percentage went up. Your yards per attempt went up. Now, last season was actually a jump. 7.2 yards per attempt was a pretty big improvement between 2023 and 2024. But even from then, you improved almost a full yard per attempt with Leftwich. Touchdown to interception, you threw 2 more touchdowns and 1 fewer interception. And then rushing, identical, essentially. You ran the ball 78 more times this season than you did last season for 400 more yards, but you had the same yards per carry.
How close this is really surprises me quite a bit. I felt like the offense was more balanced and more improved this season, and I also expected a huge drop off from Taj Brooks last year. Although my eyes were telling me otherwise. This whole time I thought, man, no, that we're not seeing that. Williams and Dickey, that's a great 1-2 combo. That's or 2-1 or whatever. I was really impressed with that, and so seeing that with one of Texas Tech's best running backs ever, and then it's this last year averaging 4.6 yards per carry in both seasons, still surprises me, despite watching all the games.
Funny you bring that up, Michael, because when I was putting this together, I was surprised there too. I even put out there on Twitter. I'm not sure if anybody responded to it, but we talked about the rushing success and how great Taj Brooks was, and he was. He was fantastic. Yes. Last season, he had 286 carries, 1,553 yards, and 17 touchdowns. That was 5.4 yards per carry. Cam Dickey may be criminally underrated. He had 209 carries for 1,124 yards. Like Spencer, it's pretty clear. Like Brooks was the leader. They both, Michael, ran for 5.4 yards per carry.
Sheesh.
If Cam Dickey carried the ball 80 more times, he would have had more yards than Brooks. Or, sorry, he would have had the same number of yards. He had more touchdowns per touches than Brooks did. Brooks had more total touchdowns. He had 17 to Cam Dickey's 14. But Dickey had it on 209 carries. Brooks had it at 286. Let me do that math real quick because I can't do that on my head.
You can.
286. So Brooks was getting a touchdown every 17 carries. Dickey was getting a touchdown every 15 carries. Again, we love Taj Brooks. I'm not here to take anything away from Brooks. I'm here to say Dickey probably a lot better than what we even thought. He like even in this season, I didn't even think to compare what he was doing to Taj Brooks.
Yeah, me
he
neither.
was doing. He was running for the same yards per carry. We remember we talked about this. We said Taj Brooks is guaranteed 5 yards.
Yeah.
He's a first down every two. Just hand the ball. He's consistent. He's going to get you 5 yards. Dickey was too, man. 5.5 yards per carry, 14 touchdowns. Jacoby Williams, again, a great 1-2 punch there. You were talking about it. He added 155 carries this season for almost another 1,000 yards. He finished with 893, 5.8 yards per carry, and 6 more touchdowns. So, offense generally improved, except for red zone. I think you addressed that yesterday or whenever it was in the portal.
Yeah, highly likely.
All right. That's where I'm going to go next. I want to talk about the portal, Michael.
Okay.
First, I want to give a quick rundown and shout out to those that are seeking opportunities elsewhere. Most of them had a great opportunity here at Texas Tech, had some kind of contribution. And I don't fault them. Any one of these guys for leaving. Go ball out somewhere else. Kicker, Upton Belafonte. Wide receiver, Kelby Valson. Wide receiver, tight end, Preston Harrison. Defensive end, Dylan Spencer. Linebacker, Justin Horn. Tight end, defensive line, Tanner Allen. Wide receiver, Bryce Morgan. Quarterback, Mitch Griffiths. I didn't know he had eligibility left, but good on you, man, for continuing to. I mean, he was working construction last year. That's the story we were all told. Sorry, that makes us look like it wasn't true. The story that was shared about his experience, who's going from working construction to, D1 quarterback. Tight end Trey Jackson, defensive end outside linebacker Chetta Ofili, and wide receiver Roy Alexander. Now, some of these, I want to also highlight some returners. These are as good as getting a top end portal commitment. 3 of these guys were top end portal additions last season. Getting them again for this season is huge. Offensive lineman Howard Sampson. I know I bagged on him for that one play.
It's one play.
Well, he also had the most offensive line penalties, but he was also, I think, the youngest. Or was punt. Either way, he was, as like a sophomore left tackle, like as maturity comes, those numbers should turn in the right direction. Tight end Terrence Carter. Absolutely love that he's coming back.
I let out an audible something when I saw that news. He was my favorite player on offense, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Mhm.
Pretty sure he's my favorite player on offense. Even though Williams and Dickey have been really impressive, but man, Carter's just something else. I'm so glad he's coming back.
Yep.
Thank you for coming back, Terrence Carter.
Quarterback Lloyd Chubb Jones. And then most recently, cornerback Bryce Pollock.
I couldn't think of Lloyd's nickname the other day. I'm glad you said it. I was trying to tell it to somebody. I was like, his name's Lloyd Jones, but I can't remember. His nickname comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. The portal party has commenced, Michael. It opened officially on the 2nd. I tried to tell myself that like the thinnest of silver linings is we don't have to try to balance.
There you are.
Carrying a game in the playoffs with absolutely wrecking shop in the portal for a second season. I had forgotten how much fun this was.
Cody Campbell was on his phone behind Grant McCaslin tonight in Houston, smiling. So who knows what he's up to?
Update, at least according to ESPN, 9:30 left. Texas Tech is up 49-45.
Ooh, yeah, they had a 9-0 run earlier.
Texas Tech did?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Texas Tech had a 9-0 run. I was out there helping them.
Okay. So we talked about Matt Muth Ludwig, the tight end that got out of his LOI to Michigan because of their coaching change. Everybody that I'm going to read off since this has been portal additions, true portal additions coming in from other programs. And it's going to be chronological. So, like, why'd you start there? I'm just going with who came first. That's just how I was keeping track of the list. Wide receiver Jalen Jones was guy number 1. Alabama State, second team, FCS All-American, HBCU All-American, first team All-SWAC, highest graded SWAC receiver in 2025 according to PFSN College. He racked up 51 receptions for 1,167 yards. It's fourth in the FCS, 23 yards per catch, 9 touchdowns, and almost 100 yards receiving per game. It's huge. Those are big numbers. Is it going to translate? You would think most of that should. But he's not going to be coming in here and being relied upon as number 1 guy. That's the benefit of what you're doing is you're bringing in guys. Linebacker. This was excitement. This was 1B on my list. Austin Romaine, Kansas State, 6'2", 245. He will be a senior from Missouri. Last season, or this season, excuse me, put up 66 tackles, half a sack, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, 1 interception. That 1 interception came against Texas Tech, and 2 passes broken up. He did play injured and missed some time a little bit this season, but at points throughout the season was on the Nagurski, the Bednarik, the Butkus Award watch lists.
Good company.
I mean, if you're going to replace a guy that won the Nagurski and Bednarik and Butkus Award, then you go get somebody that was also on that list.
Yeah.
The 3 seasons he was at Kansas State, he started in 5 games as a true freshman. It was the most starts as a true freshman since they had a cornerback do it in like the teens, mid-teen, like 2000 teens. His first career sack came against Texas Tech in 2023. His 1 career interception, or not, his 1 interception the season came against, he did really well against Texas Tech. His season there, his career had 184 tackles, 3.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 1 interception, 4 passes broken up. Last season, when he was fully healthy, he was all Big 12 second team. And then his freshman season, he was honorable mention Big 12 Defensive Freshman of the Year. It's a fantastic pickup on defense to allow Curry to stay out at star. I think what we had heard is you go get the best defensive back, safety guy, or linebacker, and then whichever one you get, you can kind of flip Curry. I think what this does is allows Curry to continue to develop at that star position, bring in Romaine to play inside with Roberts, and you reignite the mustache crew because it looks like Romaine can grow a decent mustache. Next up, wide receiver Dante Lee from Liberty, 6'3", 190, senior from the Baltimore area. Last season, he put up 32 catches for 589 yards. It's 18.5 yards per catch and 5 touchdowns. He was at Liberty for 2 seasons, 24 and 25. And before that, he was at Shaw University in Raleigh, North Carolina. Explosive guy. Then, the big one, Michael. The number 1 guy in the portal, according to certain places, number 1 quarterback, according to certain places, Brendan Sorsby. This was a poorly kept secret that he was your number 1 target. And then LSU got involved, made a visit to both Texas Tech and LSU, and then ended up coming back to Texas Tech. Obviously, he comes from Cincinnati, originally from the Dallas, Denton area. 6'3", 235, will be a senior this year. He had 2 seasons at Indiana, 2 seasons at Cincinnati. Last season, he completed just about 62% of his passes, 2,800 yards. That's 8.3 yards per attempt. We talked about Texas Tech finishing it at 8.0. This one's even better.
Well, and I think that's what Tech's defense gave up in 24 was 8.3. Yeah. I think you mentioned that too.
27 touchdowns to just 5 interceptions. Oh, also he ran the ball 100 times for 580 yards. That's almost 6 yards per. It's 5.8 exactly. So that was easy math. And 9 more touchdowns. So he was responsible for almost 3,400 yards and 36 touchdowns. Leftwich in the season talked about self-scouting and what the Texas Tech offense needed to incorporate to be better in the red zone. It was quarterback run play.
Yeah.
When
Well, and they did a couple of those. I mean, not to nitpick it and open up wounds, but they did a couple of direct snaps to Williams during the game. I think one worked and one was on a 4th and short that didn't, and it really made me angry. But it was, yeah, they didn't really have that this year at all. And I
Well-
think it was wise to not force a square peg into a round hole or whatever. I don't think that's who Morton is or ever should have been used as. And so I'm fine with it, but it absolutely helps if you've got it.
Will Hammond had pieces of that to his game, but it also
True.
felt like because of Morton's injury history, like you didn't want to mess with potentially running your backup and injuring him. Because guess what? He ended up getting hurt
Yeah.
because not that it was a designed run that did it or he took a bad hit. It was fluky, as most ACL injuries are. But when he went down, this became the plan to go get a 1-year starter to hold over until you can get Hammond back, to at least recover and heal up and be the presumed starter for 27, to have a competition with Stephen Cannon, Chubb Jones, and Kavian Bryant. But to do that, you need a guy now. And you went out and you got out potentially, supposedly one of the best quarterback, or at least top 3 quarterbacks out there. Next up was defensive lineman Julian LaVenture from Akron. He's a big dude, 6'1", 270. Would be a redshirt senior, played in a very small college, Penn West, California. 22 through 24. He redshirted in 22. His career there, he put up 72 tackles, 15 tackles for loss, 6.5 sacks, a punt block, forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. This past season, he was second team All-MAC with 45 tackles, 4 sacks, and a forced fumble. If I remember correctly, he also has like a wrestling background, and those skill sets, for whatever reason, the defensive line and wrestling seem to very well complement each other, overlap. Most of you guys are old enough to remember Colby Whitlock. He was a big-time wrestler.
And at
there's
6'1", low man wins.
Yeah. Because to contrast him with his next guy, Bryce Butler, defensive lineman from Washington, 6'5", 315, big dude. Junior, so he's got maybe some additional eligibility here from Ontario. Played 2 years at Garden City Community College, 22 and 23. So no, he should be a senior then. 24, 25 at Washington. Not a super productive guy at Washington. 24 tackles, 2 sacks, and 1 fumble recovery. It seems like he was more of a rotation guy. But you have a lot of pieces along the defensive line. Skylar Gill-Howard, probably. Lee Hunter for sure. AJ Holmes, potentially. We haven't exactly heard an announcement that he's coming back. But then guys behind him, Jaden Cofield, Duda Banks. So you look at guys like Julian LaVenture, Bryce Butler. At the very least, will slide into that rotation, if not come into a competition to start. Cornerback, Davin Martin from UTSA, who will be a junior from Houston, 6'2", 180. His 3 years there, he had 50 tackles, 1 sack, 1 fumble recovery, 1 interception, 3 passes broken up. He is very much a coverage lockdown corner. Per PFF, he allowed 0 touchdowns thrown against him in 248 coverage snaps this year. So did he turn the ball, was he a ball magnet like Finney is for Oregon? Not yet. But I think a lot like, well, I say Pollock. Pollock was really good at intercepting the ball, but he also was very, very good in coverage. And like when teams targeted him, it was not good. Same thing was happening for Davin Martin at UTSA. All right. Edge, Trey White from San Diego State, 6'2", 245 senior from San Diego. 3 years there. Super productive guy. This, I think, is seen to be as like your Romello, David Bailey type of target here. 3 years there. He had 122 tackles, 19 and a half sacks, 1 fumble, 1 interception. He was getting a lot of attention on award lists the past couple of seasons. This year, the Bronco Nagurski Trophy watch list. 24, Phil Steele All-American Honorable Mention. 24, the Bednarik Award watch list. He was a first-team All-Mountain West and a team captain on a really good defense. And then the latest. These are from today. Probably your biggest or your not physically biggest, but the biggest get. Defensive lineman Mateen Ibaragba from Wake Forest, 6'3", 296, is rated as the number 1 defensive lineman in the on-3 portal rankings. Very much seems like a Lee Hunter type of target there. Then you had JoJo Wilson, defensive lineman from Oregon State, and some weirdness with this last one. Maybe jumped the gun with the announcement. Maybe they're still waiting on somebody. Edge linebacker Adam Trick from Miami of Ohio. I don't know the specifics there. There was some scuttle that like maybe Tech Tech was refuting the commitment, or maybe they're trying to slow play it to see if they can get Wendell Gregory from Oklahoma State. But that was the latest I had seen. Now, rumored heavy favorites or whatever, we included, I included Eugene Trey Wilson from Florida here. I think that one's cooling a little bit based on the guys you've already got. And then your next guy, your big target, Cam Coleman from Auburn. If Sorsby isn't the number 1 guy in the portal rankings, if it's not Levitt, then it's going to be Cam Coleman. He's going to be up there. He has already visited Texas and A&M. He will be in Lubbock by the time that you're hearing this. He will be on his visit. This past season, he had 56 catches, 708 yards, 12 and a half yards per catch, 5 touchdowns. Seemingly wants to leave Auburn because he didn't have a reliable quarterback to throw it to him. Well, I think you've got that set up. His career, he's put up 93 catches, 1,300 yards, 13 touchdowns. And the last guy I've already mentioned, Wendell Gregory, Oklahoma State, was basically the one piece on defense we were concerned about. Their edge defensive pass rush specialist. 27 tackles, 4 sacks, a forced fumble, and a pass breakup this season. Young guy.
Yeah, no joke. I had no idea. He was just going to be a sophomore.
Yeah. So the portal season rolls on. Texas Tech has continued to solidify itself as a portal bully, as they just get who they want when they want. And get a lot of people upset, and I don't even know how to say it. I'm just they're just not. They're not. Okay, hold on. I'm checking the people that would know. First off, Chapman Lewis has entered the portal, so he is
okay.
He is leaving. Let me update the notes here. And then from somebody that I would very much trust here, that they are reaching a resolution, and they are accepting the commitment from Adam Trick, and they are moving on from Wendell Gregory for whatever that means, or for whatever reason. I know what it means.
So upon further review, the ruling on the field stands or is reversed? I'm not sure where we started.
Yeah. All right. It's going to be a wild show. It will be, I think it's open. Is it through the 10th, or is it 10-day window until the 12th? It's one of those two. There's a 10 in there somewhere. Not done yet. continuing to bolster your class, reloading, restocking to address concerns offensively, and then to restock on the defensive side. So, anywho's, you want to talk about bowl games?
Yeah, we can. I mean, I'll just run. I think I'll just run through them. Just to catch you up, a lot of bowls have taken place since we last recorded. So starting on the 30th, that Tuesday, Louisiana Tech, the Fighting Sunny Cumbies, took down Coastal Carolina in the Independence Bowl, 23-14. Illinois took down Tennessee. I hate to see it, in the Music City Bowl, 30-28. In Nashville, in their own backyard, the Volunteers lost another game in the state of Tennessee. They've lost quite a few there this year. Alamo Bowl. TCU. Very exciting ending to this game. Did you catch the end of this one?
I did. That's about the only game I watched. That's the only part of the game I did watch was the end and overtime.
Yeah, I'm surprised I was awake, but I was. And I got to see just the end of it. So number 16, USC goes down to TCU at the Alamo Bowl, 30-27 in overtime. And it was on an incredible, I don't even know if it was a screen pass. What was it? It was just kind of like a dump pass, but the TCU receiver, running back, whoever he was, tiptoed inbounds, avoided the defenders, ran in for a touchdown on like second down or something in overtime. It was nuts. So New Year's Eve, December 31st, the ReliaQuest Bowl, Iowa took down Vanderbilt 34-27. Arizona State lost versus Duke at the Sun Bowl in El Paso 42-39. I did not catch this one, but I kind of wish I would have. I didn't realize it was that close. Citrus Bowl. Apparently, I just didn't watch any football that day until the Cotton Bowl. No, I didn't watch that either. What was I doing? Oh, well, I was working. I was at work. And then we went to the Lady Raider game. Okay, that's how I missed all of this. So I even recapped this. I even wrote these scores. And I'm like, man, this is all news to me. Citrus Bowl, Texas took down Michigan 41-27. Vegas Bowl, Nebraska got hammered by Utah 44-22. And then, of course, the Cotton Bowl, Ohio State goes down. One of the three teams that went down after their playoff bye week, to Miami 24-14. Let's see. We'll just skip what happened Thursday morning. We've already covered that. The other two CFP quarterfinals that day, the Rose Bowl, Indiana just hammered Alabama 38-3. I did not have the heart to watch a second of this game. I think I would have vomited watching more football at that point. Didn't watch any of the Georgia Ole Miss game at the Sugar Bowl either. Ole Miss came back. I found out about this when I woke up the next day and won 39-34 after being down for the majority of the game, or at least at halftime. Friday, Armed Forces Bowl, Texas State took down Rice 41-10. Cincinnati, sorry guys, went down to Navy 35-13 in the Liberty Bowl. The Duke's Mayo Bowl, Wake Forest took care of Mississippi State 43-29. Holiday Bowl, man, another Big 12 team goes down. I've got an update for that at the end. SMU handles Arizona 24-19. Thursday. Sorry, we're done. That's it. That's the last bowl result. Coming this Thursday, of course, is the Fiesta Bowl. You've got number 10 Miami versus number 6 Ole Miss. That's at 7:30. And Friday is the Peach Bowl, Oregon versus number 1 Indiana. That's also at 7:30. And then, of course, Monday the 19th, a couple weeks from now, we'll have the national championship game, 7:30 p.m. that night at the same place Tech played, at the Orange Bowl. So Big 12 results in the bowl. I need to correct that date. Not good. Not great. I was pretty gloaty last time because I think as a conference we were 3-0, and then ended up going 4-4. So, and that includes 1-2 versus ACC opponents. Not great. BYU did beat Georgia Tech, but Arizona State lost to Duke and Arizona lost to SMU. We did win our one matchup against the SEC. Thank you, Houston. 1-0 thanks to their win versus LSU in the Texas Bowl. Wound up 2-1 in Big Ten matchups. Of course, the 1L belonging to Texas Tech versus Oregon. TCU, of course, took care of USC, and Utah took care of Nebraska. And then 0-1 versus the AAC. Thank you for that, Cincy, with the 35-13 loss to Navy. So a 4-4 bowl season for the Big 12. You know, all of the talk about it not being a quote-unquote Power 5 or Power 4 or whatever you want to say, that doesn't help. None of that helps at all. But there we are. That's how we ended.
Are you gonna watch the rest of the playoffs?
I am. I think I can handle it. I think I'm removed enough. I've got to be careful because I don't want to root for Indiana because I really hope Tech gets the chance to play them someday. But I am going to I'm going to root for some pain for the Oregon Ducks. I think that's how I'll phrase that. But yeah, I will. I'll go ahead and watch the rest of it. I just could not the day of. There was no way I was going to watch those other two games. I watched. I've been binge watching Ken Burns' documentary about national parks, and that was what I did. After I went to that watch party, I got home. I got on the couch. I lied a little bit. I did turn on the Indiana-Alabama game. I just turned it on, and then immediately was like, this isn't going to work. And so then I watched the Ken Burns documentary instead for two solid hours, and I don't think I said 3 words.
Yeah, I didn't watch any games the rest of the day, and nothing really since. I wanted to watch. I didn't want to watch. I watched some highlights of the Ole Miss Georgia game, and thought that was pretty. The environment was unreal. I also watched overtime of the, was it FCS or Division, whatever, in Illinois State, Montana State last night.
I've got a quick story about that. I'll let you go on about it because I checked my score app last night, and I was just kind of appalled that there was no football on. But my mistake, and my apologies to all the good FCS folks out there, I had FBS or whatever selected in my app, so it just showed 0 college football being played last night. Because I was actively like, man, what am I going to watch? And if I can't find something to watch, I'm going to rewatch Tech in the Orange Bowl. And so since I couldn't find anything to watch, that's what I did. And so anyway, I missed out on that incredible game.
Yeah, I just watched the end. Wait, why didn't they not? Okay, sorry.
Speaking of, I'm trying to get the basketball game going.
Shooting free throws here, we just tied it at 60. The 1 Watt to the line. Although I thought it was a shooting foul and that he made it, but misses the second. So tied at 60, 150 left, at least on my stream.
Well, speaking of, you want to jump into basketball?
No, because I don't know. I just going to wrap up on the playoffs. I don't know who I'd want to win between Oregon and Indiana. I guess, like I'd want Oregon to do well so we could like claim like, oh yeah, we lost to the eventual champion or whatever, or the only team that took down number 1, but also like, I don't know.
I don't have like this disdain or strong ill will wished towards Oregon. Honestly, I I kind of hope they don't win, but whatever. If they do, they do. I'm definitely. I think I can compartmentalize it. We'll find out. We'll find out this Thursday and Friday if I can just put the Tech Oregon game out of my mind and just enjoy the last 3 games we have of the season. I think I can do that, but I don't know. I know Lanning rubs people a lot of the wrong way.
He's psychotic, yeah.
I mean, Signetti's kind of his own
He is too.
type of thing too. So but neither of them really bother me that much, and I'm maybe in the minority on that. So I think I will be just able to sit down and enjoy some good football and not feel too weird about it, or too up in arms if Oregon wins or whatever.
Yeah, almost Miami is like, it's interesting to me, but like
Oh yeah,
I
Ole
think
Miss
the-
Miami is great TV. I'm like completely impartial to that. That's going to be. I like that they're on different nights. I can truly enjoy one, and then the other one I might kind of feel weird about. But yeah, Ole Miss Miami, man, fire that up. I haven't gotten to watch Ole Miss play hardly at all this year.
I have a hard time seeing, like, I think the winner of the Oregon Indiana game is going to win it all.
I agree with you, but man, that Miami defense is going to cause some problems for somebody if they get past Ole Miss.
Problems.
Yeah, well, I mean, Tech's defense they did slow down a top 10 offense pretty darn considerably, but not enough. Should have held them to -2 or scored a safety. Should have had a pick 6. What were they doing? Why didn't they call the pick 6 play, Spencer?
I don't know. I don't know where Bryce Pollock's head was at. Why Shieldwood refused to make that call. I'm frustrated, like, why we would foul somebody on a rebound attempt on a missed free throw. Instead
Why
we're gonna
isn't
give
this
them-
game on? Oh my gosh, I hate Hulu. I turned it off and it's like, oh, this is so annoying. I turned it off and it started me back where I was when I turned it off. And so all of a sudden the halftime show's coming on.
No, we have 1:17 left. Houston shooting the free throw.
No wonder I haven't seen anything. I was like, how are you seeing this stuff? Might as well be
63 to
commercial.
60. 1:17 to go.
This is so dumb.
Yeah, we can talk about basketball. We just slide right into that. As this game is winding down. You are 1-0 in conference play after defeating Oklahoma State this past weekend. Get in there. Boom. JT Toppin hits a free throw, not a free throw. Layup. 62-63, 50 seconds to go. Houston's going to dribble out some luck. Okay. Checking in the Haslametrics back at where you started, your 24th before tonight, or before this game. Oh my gosh. That's brutal.
Oh, what? That was a long 3. That was from the F and Fertitta Center. So Houston's up 66-62. Clock's winding down.
Oh, get in.
20 seconds. Anderson threw up a prayer.
That's going to be it.
And that's, yep, all she wrote. Houston with the rebound. We're fouling.
And there's the
because
bench
we're
going
down
crazy,
4.
like they just won the whole thing or something.
Well, that's that same guy. That was that same guy that knocked a ball out of bounds earlier, and you would have thought he won the $9 million billion trillion Powerball or something.
And I get that, like, he's done well the second half, but it was grinding me a little bit that they were giving so much broadcast time to Kingston Flemings. He was 2 of 9. I was like, you want to spend this much time talking about a guy that's missed 7 of his 9 shots he's taken? That's come back. I think he's shooting 50% for the game. But
speaking of, is this right? Christian Anderson is 2 of 10.
I don't doubt it. The whole team has looked off shooting.
Watts was 1 of 9. Atwell's 3 of 10.
Can't buy a shot to fall. Golly.
Good gosh, guys. Well, looks like this one's going to wrap up. AP Top 25 update. Arizona is still number 1, barely. Iowa State is still number 3. Houston moved up from 8 to 7, and they will likely go up unless they lose again this weekend. BYU went from 10 to 9. Texas Tech moved up 1 from 15 to 14 after their defeat of Oklahoma State. And this extends their program record of 18 straight AP appearances. I assume even after tonight, they will make it into a 19th appearance, probably in the 19 to 20 range. We'll see. Oh, wow. Anderson made that, but it didn't count, did it?
It's a half-court 3.
It's the only 3 he made all night. Anyway, so yeah, Kansas is 22. They were previously 17. And UCF entered the top 25 this week after being previously unranked. I think they knocked off Kansas. I think that's what helped them in there. And I think they're 12-1 or something like that. So welcome, Golden Knights. We'll see where they go. But yeah, Houston gets the dub against Texas Tech tonight. Final score 69. Nice. To 65. No 6-7s in the final score. And just Houston plays great defense. And you can see that by having some of your, your highest contributors go 1 of 9. Lawan Watts, 1 of 9, 0 of 3 from 3. Christian Anderson, 3 of 11, 1 of 5 from 3. Sorry, I lied. He made a 3 earlier. And then Petty was 6 of 10. Great night for him on that. Atwell, 3 of 10, 3 of 9 from 3. His only makes were 3s. Toppin with 18 points. But yeah, Petty actually led with 20 points tonight. I think I'm shudder to look at the rebound stats. Not that bad. Texas Tech was out rebounded by 1. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Houston out rebounded Tech by 1. But just a really poor night of shooting for Tech and for Houston, at least from 3. They were only 24% for the night.
Yeah, they only hit 4 threes.
Yeah, just not able to. Tech wasn't able to get it done. Tech uncharacteristically was 10 of 11 on the free throw from the free throw line, but also had
Houston attempted twice as many free throws.
Yes, but Tech also had 14 turnovers and
forced only 6.
Yeah, that'll get you. That'll hurt.
You had 5 blocks. All 5 came from Toppin.
Nice job, JT.
I was trying to see the rotation. Nolan Groves, Leon Horner, and Tyree Bryan all played some. Let's see. Minutes.
I think they were the only guys available. I think, right?
Yeah,
maybe
Groves
not.
Played 3. Tyree Bryan played 4. Leon Horner played 11. We knew that, or I had heard that Bamboye and who was the other wing? Anyways, they were unavailable tonight.
So with that, Texas Tech is now 1-1 conference play, 11-4 overall. Despite their 102-80 drubbing of Oklahoma State this last week, where I think yet again they matched their record of made 3s in a game.
Was it 17?
As a program.
Yes.
Let me see what was it. Yeah, 17 of 37. They were 46%. Brian was hitting them too. He had 18 points in that game. 3 of 5 from downtown was Tyree Bryan. But yeah, everybody was getting in on that a little bit. It seemed like Toppin even attempted a 3. Didn't go in, but
next
his
up
due.
was Colorado on Saturday. They 7-point projected win for Texas Tech on the road, which is something to consider there. And then you're back home versus Utah on Wednesday. Utah's bad.
They're struggling, man. That game's on Peacock. They're so bad.
And I don't have a subscription to that, so I guess I won't be able to watch that game.
Yeah,
That's
8
fun.
p.m. on Peacock. That's weird. I did not know that Tech had any sort of deal with them. Or not Tech, the Big 12, I guess.
All right. You want to update us on the Lady Raiders?
Yeah, so Lady Raiders officially, they had tied the best start in program history after their win on New Year's Eve, and now they have officially broken that, and they do have the best start in program history. They are 16-0. They are 3-0 in conference play already. They started playing conference matchups prior to Christmas. This includes a 73-55 win versus UCF on New Year's Eve, and then an 80-49 drubbing of Arizona on Saturday. I got to attend both games. I got to attend the Oklahoma State game. So while Spencer was taking care of all the portal business, I was attending basketball games here in Lubbock, Texas, and it was great. Really enjoyed it. The other big highlight, and I mean this literally and figuratively, is signing a 7'1" center.
Saw that.
Yes, and I saw her. She was at the men's game, and she was at the Arizona game at the Lady Raiders. She was with the team. She was on the bench. Obviously wasn't suited up because she has not been given the green light yet from the NCAA, but from what I've seen, that seems to be imminent. But Stephanie, and I am going to butcher this so bad, Okachukwu, would you say that? Or should it be like Okachukwu, maybe?
I would probably go more like Okachukwu.
Okachukwu? Okay. Stephanie.
I don't
Fortunately, Stephanie is very easy to remember, and for my myself to say.
I wonder. I don't mean this like. I wonder what her non-English first name is.
I do too. She speaks 3 languages, including her native language. I believe is called Igbo, and Japanese and English. She was born in Nigeria. She played high school ball in Japan before, and I'm putting this in a question because I think this was like an AI result, so I don't completely trust it. So anyway, she played high school ball in Japan. That came from Tech's write-up. But then I saw a couple other places where I think she played professionally in the Philippines after that. And, her coming here when she takes the court, she will officially be the tallest player in the history of women's basketball, at least in women's NCAA basketball, and probably professional, at least in the U.S. So very big deal. Her highlight video is insane. I just cannot believe that.
I watched part of it, and it's just like a dad playing with his kids. Like, nope, I'm gonna swap that away.
Right? Yeah, she just takes it and like holds it up, and she's very, very smart with how she blocks shots. Like she doesn't swat them out of the gym. I mean, sometimes they land out of bounds, but she tries to. She's got like a flick of the wrist where she's blocking it, and sometimes she catches it with her other hand, or she dribbles it once and then gets it. I mean, it's nuts. So can't wait to see her in action and see the Lady Raiders, who are ranked number 17th right now. They're in the top 25 for the second week in a row. Like we said last week, I think that's the first time they've been in the top 25 since 2012. Iowa State still hanging in there. Previously number 10. They went to number 11 because they lost by 2 at home to Baylor. That seems like a pretty generous fall. to lose at home to a team that was ranked 22 at the time when you played them. But I think they're getting a little bit of love. So Iowa State only falls one spot. TCU fell after an overtime loss by 10 at Utah. They were number 8 and are now 13. Baylor, with that win versus Iowa State, moved from 22 to 16. Also receiving votes, and I'll get to this, is Oklahoma State and West Virginia. And West Virginia are the Lady Raiders' next opponent. Both of these teams are the only teams so far in the Big 12 that are undefeated. They're 3-0 in conference play. West Virginia is 13-2 overall. They will host the Lady Raiders at 6 o'clock on Wednesday. That's on ESPN Plus. So West Virginia's 2 losses were back-to-back, late November, early December, kind of that weird time at the end of Thanksgiving and all that. So they were in the Bahamas, and they lost to number 19 Ohio State by 2. They lost to them 81-83. Ohio State is 13-2 right now, so that's a quote unquote quality loss. They also lost to Villanova at home after they got back from the Bahama trip. Villanova's 12-3, but I think that L was pretty lopsided, so that one doesn't look good. But they have not lost since. That was the first week in December, and they are currently on a 5-win streak over Power 4 teams, including Georgia Tech, at Texas A&M, versus Houston, at Kansas, and at Kansas State. So they've gotten 3 road wins in that 5-win streak. So West Virginia is going to be a handful, and they're not ranked right now, but they could be after this game or very soon. So we'll see. So yeah, tune in 6 o'clock Wednesday the 7th to see the Lady Raiders take on a 13-2 West Virginia team to determine who will be first in the Big 12 until a day or two later when some other teams play. Following that, Tech will play at Cincinnati on Saturday the 10th. Cincinnati is struggling. They are 5-10, 0-3 in conference play. And then Tech will host Houston the following Tuesday the 13th. Houston also struggling, 6-8, 0-3 in conference play. Houston's been they have had trouble for several seasons. So yeah, don't want to overlook West Virginia at all, but hopefully if they're able to get a win there, they can, fingers crossed, grab a couple more. Oh, I had a fun stat that's no longer good, but I'm still going to do it anyway. So until Texas Tech lost tonight versus Houston, the Lady Raiders and Red Raiders had started off a combined 4-0 in conference play with an average plus 18-point margin of victory. And that included the 1-point win in Waco by the Lady Raiders to open the Big 12 play. So, yeah, Tech lost tonight by 4. The men did, to the number 7 team in the country. So that will change that stat a little bit, but still off to a pretty decent start, especially the Lady Raiders into conference play.
A 4-1 start between the two teams is not bad.
Yeah,
and
we'll
the
take it.
the 4-point loss on the road to number 7. That's not bad. All right, let's wrap this thing up with questions, Michael. Well, I say wrap it up. Let's do questions and then wrap it up with what did we learn.
Okay.
So,
I have a question for you. Have you been keeping up with the NFL? Do you have any thoughts on the NFL playoffs? Playoffs?
I have not. I have a hard time keeping up with the Cowboys.
Well, that's fine. But I have really enjoyed, and I think that's part of it too. Especially when Tech has a tough loss or something like that happens. I really enjoy watching two teams I don't have any rooting interest in play professional football, and I mentioned the Lions-Bears game earlier, and then my goodness, I got to catch the end of the Ravens-Steelers game the other night. There was a missed extra point that led to being down by 2. Then there was a last-second field goal that the kicker missed, and he hadn't missed one from that range that entire year, and he was a first year kicker. He was a rookie, and then next thing you know, Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers win by 2. Harbaugh gets fired from the Ravens today. I don't know where, I don't know where he'll land, but that guy's a good coach. And wherever he lands is going to be really glad to have him. But I kind of get why he was fired. But anyway, just the NFL has been such a palate cleanser for me this year. I've really enjoyed it. So I'm excited about all these matchups. I can't believe the freaking Jaguars are are the number 3 seed in the AFC. That just doesn't feel right. They're 13-4. They're going to go against the 12-5 Bills. We've got the Chargers and the Patriots. The Patriots are 14-3. That kid from North Carolina is just playing lights out at quarterback. They're going to be playing each other. You've got Texans, Steelers. That's what was so cool about that game on Saturday too, is whoever won that game went to the playoffs to represent whatever division, whatever AFC division the Steelers and the Ravens are in. I don't know. AFC North, South, East, West, probably West, because none of that makes sense to me, how they named them. But anyway, and then on the NFC side, I forgot to mention, Broncos got the bye. They ended up being 14-3 on the season on the AFC side. So on the NFC side, Seahawks got the bye, 14-3. And then 2 versus 7 is going to be Bears Packers. 3-6, you've got Eagles Niners. 4-5, you've got Panthers Rams. I've really enjoyed watching the Rams this year. And the Bears are kind of fun, but they're also kind of, you just don't know what you're going to get. The Eagles, I do not enjoy watching. I'm going to be rooting for Brock Purdy a little bit, which doesn't feel right still. I can't let that go. I can't let Iowa State fans ruin my fun. But, man, the NFL has just been – they have had some incredible finishes in a lot of the games I've just happened to watch or catch the end of this year. And that Ravens Steelers may have topped them all so far. Just nuts.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the bracket now, and what stands out to me is, like, because I've just not paid close attention to it this season, like, it's surprising to see. Okay, I remember New England not that long ago was bad, and they're the 2 seed in the AFC.
Is it Mayo, right?
Drake
May. I mean, I think he's up for MVP, man. He is killing it over there. Yeah. They look really good, and he just seems. I listened to SV Pod a lot, and they described it. He's just kind of the same no matter what, whether he's threw a 40-yard bomb or he threw an interception or whatever. He's just, that's it. He's just right there. His heartbeat's not even going to go up. So that I'm with you. That one really surprised me this year. I'm surprised the Texans ended up being as good as they were, especially with, I think they had some injuries early on. Anyway, I didn't keep up with the Broncos. I didn't get to watch them very much. The Bills always kind of wind up in there, but yeah, I do think I am surprised that the Ravens weren't a shoe-in. They really seemed like they were primed to go on a heck of a run this year and just weren't able to do it, but still put themselves in position to go up by 1 at the end of regulation, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah. So the Chargers and the Jaguars, and then over on the NFC side, the Bears being the 2 seed, they weren't
right. They've been so bad for so long.
And Carolina.
Yeah, you got Carolina, and I always get Carolina and Jacksonville. I don't know. I kind of always lump them in together. I guess because they're cats and they were expansion teams. But yeah, it's wasn't there a Super Bowl where they played each other, or was that no? That was Titans. I think it might have been Titan Panthers.
I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There was 2 expansion teams that played each other not too long after the teams.
It was Titans Rams.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know that they played each other for sure. Okay, well, it had to be that because it's not there was a lot, not that like there was. Oh, the Rams had just moved. Maybe that's what I was thinking.
Well, when the matchup I'm thinking about, like they were still St. Louis. Anyways, I mean, I will. I'll keep up with it, but I'm not like, oh, I'm going to pull for this guy or I'm going to be tuned in exactly when kickoff starts or whatever.
Yeah,
obviously I'll watch.
Hop on the NFL bandwagon. It's there's a lot to see over here.
It's hard too because it's like the Chiefs are out.
Yeah,
Cowboys are not in there. I guess the Broncos, they're my childhood team.
There you go.
I can follow them. I just don't like Bo Nix. I don't know.
I
know nothing about the Broncos besides Nix.
Yeah, that's all I know too. I'm kind of into the Rams this year. I like Matt Stafford. He can still sling it. I'm talking like he's, some old decrepit man. He's 8 years younger than me or whatever. But that's kind of the team I've enjoyed watching the most this year, aside from the Bills. Man, I really do. I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. Bills quarterback name. Help me. Josh Allen. Thank you. Josh Allen versus the kid from Clemson. That's going to be a good game. I can't remember his name either. Trevor.
Is it Lawrence?
Yeah, sure it is.
Trevor.
Yeah, I catch myself kind of rooting for the
I'm
Bills.
Looking at the Broncos.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I'm looking at the Broncos rosters. Like there are a lot of familiar names. Like obviously Bo Nix. Their running backs J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey. Receivers Cortland Sutton, Ingram. Like I kind of know these guys from college. I just haven't watched them professionally. So it feels weird to like, I'm gonna jump on the Broncos train because they're like number one. But all right, let's wrap this thing up with what we learned. What do you say?
Sounds good.
All right, I already mentioned it, so I'll just be real quick. Reminded again, 13 months later, how much fun it is to be in this position when the transfer portal is open. Texas Tech is doing unbelievable things to retool and reload and restock their roster. It's fun and entertaining to watch other teams flip out. I'm sure you saw it, Michael. There was a post from like the Nebraska board. It's like, maybe we'll just wait until Texas Tech is done and then we'll see what's left. I mean, not that long ago, we very much felt that way about like Texas and A&M. Like, I guess once they're done picking out who they want from the state of Texas, it wasn't portal related, it's like high school guys. Then we'll see what we can do. And we'll go up against Baylor and TCU and sometimes Houston for guys. And like, now we're going up against LSU and other big name programs. And it's been a lot of fun. It's not over yet too.
Oh no. The
other thing, it wasn't something I did on New Year's Day. I had other things going. I had to work a good part of that day. And then I had the Texas Tech game. But Saturday would have been was that the 3rd?
Yes.
I was mowing the grass. and
that's
not
how
to like
start. That's how you start the new. You have a going lawn or going yard report on January 6th.
Yeah, and
when we
it
record.
wasn't that like I had to get some frustration out, or I needed to clear my mind. Like it was overdue even. So the lawn down here is growing. It's St. Augustine, and it's alive and well and needing right now. There was a cold spell for a little bit that slowed everything down. I probably hadn't mowed it since like Thanksgiving, so like it had been 6 weeks. But it will not be 6 weeks before I have to mow again. It's going to be pretty regular now. So I'm sure your grass is all dormant, and I'm sure it's fine. And you're like, man, I don't have to start worrying about mowing until April. I'm in it now, man.
I don't know. It's been even for here unseasonably warm. No real end in sight. I think we're going to see a high in the 50s this weekend, but man, it's just been 70s and sunny, and it's been dry as all get out. So that doesn't help. But I don't know. I might have to fire up the mower in February. We'll see where we stand if the weeds don't take over.
We hit, if it wasn't 90, it was very nearly 90 a day or two ago. Low 80s today, high 70s tomorrow, 80, 80. Cool front on Saturday, high of 69. Rain Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So lower highs, mid 50s this weekend. So
yeah, that's kind of where we're at on this weekend, but probably no rain.
Yeah.
I learned something, and I'm going to try not to get too fired up about it because we're at an hour 45. So I went to a local establishment in town. It is an Italian restaurant on 82nd Street.
Oh no.
West of Frankfurt. And they advertised an Orange Bowl watch party in their bar area. And they have a nice bar area. And they said, hey, we're going to be open at 10. We usually open at 11, but we're going to be open at 10 for the game. There'll be some brunch options and all that kind of stuff. And so my wife and I were like, great, let's do that. Let's do that so that I'm not trapping myself in like a dark room somewhere and just watching it like that way. And so we took she's 9 now. I can't believe it. We took our 9-year-old over to mom's, headed over to this establishment. We walk in, it's like 10:30. There's 6 TVs in the bar area. I think 2 of them are on, and neither of them are on ESPN. And I think, okay, all right, well, they've got time. They've got time to get this together. And then I see the manager and the poor bartender at some point going around to the TVs trying to log in to things. It's ESPN. Oh, no. It's not, the Ocho. It's not FS3. Like this is got to be the most watched channel in your bar area. Period. This has got to be it, right? So still waiting. They're like logging in. We're sorry. And I'm sitting in, I purposely picked this spot at a bar because there's like a 80-inch TV in front of me and it's black. There's nothing on it. Then there's a menu. Gosh. What channel is it on Samsung TV? And I'm like, it's not on Samsung TV. That's just streaming channels. You have to have a login for ESPN. And so I'm trying to keep my cool because I'm already nervous about the game and everything anyway. And they do get 2 TVs. Of course, naturally, the 2 furthest TVs away from me. And the bar's starting to fill up a little bit at this point. So we're committed to where we are. We're sitting where we are. Because I asked him, I said, well, as long as you can get the game on here, we're fine. Oh, yeah, we'll have the game on here. Halfway through the first quarter, they had the game on the TV in front of me.
Oh, my gosh.
There were 2 TVs. I couldn't even see one of them because it was on a wall adjacent to me. So I watched the TV furthest away from me, 20 foot away. They at least had the audio synced for those 2 TVs. They did get the game on 5 of the 6 TVs, but it was showing 4 different feeds. And I guess they just gave up on the 6 TV and it stayed off the entire time. So the only 2 TVs you could watch were the 2 furthest away from you because they were synced together. The audio was working, but then the other 3 remaining TVs were at various parts of the game, 40 seconds behind, 20 seconds behind, a minute. I don't know. And it kept getting worse as the game went on. It was terrible. So note to self, if an Italian place offers to have a watch party, they're not going to have their crap together to have ESPN on. The bartender even said, he's like, I didn't even know we were open at 10 today. Like, oh, well, this is good. Good sign. Good sign. You know what? Excellent service. The food was great.
It's a good place to start.
But it's still like that. That's why so many of those things, especially that punt, after being through all of this, and then someone is offsides on a punt, and I'm seeing it 20 foot away. I should have brought my binoculars. And then I get to watch it live in front of the TV in front of me a minute later. And you can understand why I was a little bit frustrated. But we'd already committed. Like we're here. The game's starting.
You couldn't go somewhere else.
I'm not going to drive around somewhere. I mean, I've missed so much football this year because of 8-year-old soccer. It's like, I'm not missing this. I'm not moving. It's at least on something here. But gosh, it was frustrating. Just a complete cluster. 5 TVs showing the same game at 4 different moments in time. Just brutal.
Well, Michael, with that, I think we should wrap it up.
I agree.
I'll have to get the name of the restaurant after we wrap this one up. But lesson learned, I guess. Good gravy. Yeah, because you couldn't get up and go somewhere else. You would have missed more of the game.
Yes.
You may have just backed up and gone home. I don't know. You weren't gonna get into another restaurant and sit somewhere. I'm sorry you had that experience. I sat at home. Anyways, another Personal Podcast. For Michael, I'm Spencer. Catch you guys next time.
Thank you for listening to the 23 Personnel Podcast. Help us out by subscribing, rating the show, and leaving a review. Follow us on Twitter at 23 Personnel, Spencer at Punt Suck, and Michael at Michael_LBK. Be sure to catch the next episode. And until then, guns up and let the tortillas fly.